6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundithavam. The President agrees to form an all-party government. A meeting between the President and party leaders will be held tomorrow. The Premier emphasised that he is not a person who will run away in the middle of challenges and economic issues. More than 1,000 trade unions on strike today. Another 3,600 metric tons of gas will be brought to the country today. In foreign news, Putin warns against foreign intervention in Ukraine war. And in sports, Liverpool take control of Champions League semi. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he is on principle willing to form an all-party government with the political parties representing Parliament. He conveyed this in a letter directed to the political party leaders representing the ruling faction. In his letter, the President stated that the venerable chief prelates of the three chapters, His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjith, and other religious leaders, political parties and various organizations have appealed to him to form an all-party government representative of each political party in the Parliament as a solution for the present social and economic crisis the country is grappling with. A meeting between the President and the ministers, parliamentarians representing the government will be held today at the President's house. The meeting will focus on the current economic crisis, political problems and other related issues. It is expected that the group of SLBC parliamentarians will attend the meeting. Meanwhile, another meeting will be held at the parliamentary complex at 2 p.m. today under the patronage of Speaker Mahindayapa Abeyewardena to discuss on the constitutional changes and proposals. Some political parties have presented their proposals on the changes of the constitution. The President has called a meeting tomorrow with the participation of all political party leaders in the ruling faction, the leaders of political parties that represented the government after the 2020 general election and currently sit independently in the House. The meeting is scheduled to take place at 10:30 a.m. at the President's house. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has never asked him to resign from his position. During an audience with the chairpersons, mayors and members of local government institutions yesterday, Prime Minister Rajapaksa has also expressed confidence that the President would not ask him to do so, the Prime Minister's office said in a statement. These remarks came amidst growing agitations against the incumbent government, with protesters calling for the resignation of the President, the Premier and the Cabinet of Ministers. At the meeting held at Temple Trees last morning, the local government authorities passed a unanimous resolution that the Prime Minister should not vacate his position at the moment, according to the PM's office. Prime Minister Rajapaksa has also told the local government authorities that the government would rebuild the country even with foreign aid. The Premier also said that he is not a person who will run away in the middle of challenges and economic issues. The government has to face this challenge. In the history, the country has gone through many disastrous situations. When the present government took over the office, the country was facing a severe economic crisis and a national security issue. The previous government had made havoc and created a chaotic situation at the time of the regime change. However, the government was able to strengthen the national security as promised during the election. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A number of public and private sector trade unions are currently engaged in a one-day token strike as of midnight. Nearly 1,000 unions from a number of sectors, including the state service, health, ports, electricity, education and postal, have joined the strike action, demanding the resignation of the President and the current government. The unions claim the island-wide strike action will lead to the disruption of many public sector services today. University lecturers will also join the strike, with protests being staged opposite universities across the island. Around 50% of hospitals and health workers have also joined the strike, while services at hospitals, however, will not be affected. Health workers on duty will be dressed in black. Protests and marches will be held opposite all hospitals from noon today. Meanwhile, a large-scale protest rally organised by unions is scheduled to be held at noon opposite the Fort railway station. That concludes local news, and on to the main news story. Another 3,600 metric tons of gas will be brought to the country today. Litro Gas Company announced that distribution of the gas stock which was unloaded on Monday has commenced. The company said that 100,000 domestic gas cylinders will be distributed daily. It further said that gas cylinders have been sent to agents island-wide and would be sold under new prices and came to you in the main news story. On to Watchlight, the Education Ministry said school-based cut-off marks of the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination 2021 will be issued by the first week of next month. Based on the cut-off marks, the students who pass the scholarship examination can apply for admission to popular schools and came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Making headlines this morning, Putin warns against foreign intervention in Ukraine war. Insatiable greed degrading land around the world, UN. Israeli Prime Minister to pay for families' food after criticism. Any country trying to intervene in the Ukraine war will face a lightning-fast response, Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned. Quote, "We all have the tools no one can boast of. We will use them if necessary," unquote, he said, in what is seen as a reference to ballistic missiles and nuclear arms. Ukraine's allies have stepped up the supply of weapons, with the US vowing to make sure Ukraine defeats Russia. Western officials say Russia is being hampered in its efforts in the east. Last week, Russia launched a major offensive to seize the Donbas region after withdrawing from areas around the capital, Kyiv. In another development, the European Commission has accused Russia of blackmail after Moscow cut off gas exports to Poland and Bulgaria. Human activities are damaging and degrading the lands of the earth in an unsustainable fashion, according to a new UN report. Up to 40% of the global terrain has already been devalued, mainly through modern agriculture. If nothing changes, then an additional area, land the size of South America, will be damaged by 2050. But if lands are restored and protected, they could help contain climate change and species loss. Israel's Prime Minister Naftali Bennett says he will now pay for his family's food bills from his own pocket. He faced criticism after TV report alleged extravagant expenditure at his private home, which currently functions informally as his official residence. He later disclosed that $26,400 of taxpayers' money was spent each month, including $7,400 on food. Mr. Bennett, who is a self-made millionaire, insisted that his conduct had been within the rules. Back to the headlines of the world news. Putin warns against foreign intervention in Ukraine war. Insatiable greed degrading land around the world, UN. And the Israeli Prime Minister to pay for his family's food after criticism. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Indonesia has offered humanitarian aid to Sri Lanka for the purchase of essential medicines and medical equipment. The ambassador of Indonesia to Sri Lanka, Devi Kustina Tobing, said a sum of $1.6 million has been offered to Sri Lanka as humanitarian aid. Quote, the total value of the aid is 3.1 tons to be sent from Jakarta to Colombo by Sri Lankan Airlines in 2 dispatches today and the 8th of May 2022, unquote, she said in a statement which came to you in Development News.
Development News was brought to you by... The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
It's soccer first. Liverpool took a giant stride towards another Champions League final with a commanding victory over Villarreal at Anfield. Jurgen Klopp's quadruple-chasing Reds had to demonstrate patience to break down a Villarreal side well organised by European specialist Unai Emery. Liverpool were held at bay despite creating all the chances and needed a touch of fortune to break the deadlock after 53 minutes when Jordan Henderson's cross was deflected beyond Villarreal keeper Geronimo Rulli by Pervis Estupiñán. And on to boxing news. WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury has confirmed he's done with boxing. The 33-year-old British fighter had hinted at retiring after the sixth-round knockout of Dillian Whyte in front of 94,000 fans at Wembley on Saturday to retain his title. Speaking to Piers Morgan's Talk TV show on Wednesday, Fury said he was deciding to leave boxing behind to spend more time with his family. That's sports news. We'll look at business news next.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Central African Republic has approved Bitcoin as legal tender, just the second country to do so. CAR is one of the world's poorest countries, but is rich in uranium, gold and diamonds. It has been racked by conflict for decades and is a close Russian ally, with mercenaries from the Wagner Group helping fight rebel forces. Lawmakers voted unanimously to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, said a statement from the CAR presidency, and came to you in Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
On to economic news, car production in the UK has continued to fall as manufacturers struggle with global supply chain problems. Almost 100,000 fewer cars were built in the first 3 months of 2022 compared to last year. Manufacturing has dropped by nearly a third, according to the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. The SMMT linked the decline to a global shortage of computer chips and rising energy costs for manufacturers. That's economic news, and on to the weather report. Showers or thundershowers will occur at most parts of the island during the afternoon or night. A few showers may occur in the western and southern coastal areas during the morning as well. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters may occur at some places in the western, central, Sabragama, Uva, north central and northwestern provinces, and in the Gaul and Martora districts. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters may occur at some other places too. And back to the headlines of the local news. To conclude this news broadcast, the President agrees to form an all-party government. A meeting between the President and party leaders will be held tomorrow. The Premier emphasised that he is not a person who will run away in the middle of challenges and economic issues. More than 1,000 trade unions on strike today. Another 3,600 metric tons of gas will be brought to the country today. Putin warns against foreign intervention in Ukraine war. And Liverpool take control of Champions League semi. That concludes this morning's news broadcast, and now it's back to your hostess, Geethanjali Ramanayaka, to keep you entertained.